Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. This video contains mention of rape and assault. Viewer discretion is advised. The Gorgon Medusa is perhaps the most famous of all monsters in Greek mythology. Her frightening appearance, head of writhing snakes, and her deadly gaze are certainly iconic images in mythology and folklore. But Medusa was not born a Gorgon. There was indeed a time when she was a beautiful, human woman. Medusa was once a beautiful priestess to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, creativity, and strategic warfare. Her beauty won the hearts of men from all over Athens, but her vows to Athena forbade her from marriage and bound her to chastity. Though this would deter mortal men who coveted her, it mattered not to one particular suitor. Poseidon, the god of the sea, was enchanted by her beauty, and he made his advances. Frightened by the lecherous god, Medusa ran from her pursuer and sought shelter in the temple of Athena, certain that her beloved goddess would protect her from Poseidon's advances. But Poseidon found her, and he raped her on the temple floor. As Poseidon assaulted her, Medusa prayed to Athena, begging the goddess to save her. But Athena would offer no comfort to the poor girl, and after Poseidon had left, she gave Medusa her answer. Athena transformed Medusa into a Gorgon. Her skin turned withered and scaly. Her face became like that of a living corpse. Razor-sharp claws sprouted from each of her fingers and toes. Her mouth grew large, tusk-like fangs, and her once beautiful hair was replaced by a nest of writhing, venomous snakes. This monstrous transformation into a creature more hideous and terrifying than any before it was deemed Medusa's punishment for fornicating in Athena's temple, an act committed against Medusa's own will by the lecherous Poseidon. However, Athena gifted Medusa with a deadly weapon. Should any mortal gaze into her eyes, they would instantly be turned to stone. With this power, Medusa would never again be a victim. Medusa was banished from human society and fled far to the north to an island in Hyperborea, where she lived with her Gorgon sisters Euryale and Cytheno. Her exile was not a peaceful one, however, as word soon spread of her paralyzing gaze. Whosoever managed to slay Medusa and take her head would not only receive the glory of slaying a perceived monster, but they would gain the ultimate combat advantage, for her gaze, even in death, could turn enemies to stone. Mercenaries, monster hunters, would-be heroes all would pursue Medusa and attempt to behead her. But one after another, all would be turned to stone by Medusa's deadly eyes.
Come, all ye adventurers and would-be slayers. Medusa would gaze upon her enemies as you turn to stone.
In time, Medusa's slayer arrived in the form of Perseus, the demigod son of Zeus and the mortal woman Danae. Perseus was sent to retrieve the head of Medusa by the wicked king Polydectes. Polydectes coveted Perseus's mother and intended for the youth to be killed by the Gorgon. But Perseus was determined to slay Medusa and use her gaze on the king and save his mother. With aid from the gods, particularly Athena, and from the Grey sisters, Perseus succeeded in beheading the Gorgon, and thus ended the suffering of Medusa. Though Medusa was slain, she would continue to play a role in mythology. From her severed neck sprang two beings, Chrysaor, a sword-wielding giant who would go on to father the monster Geryon, and the winged horse, Pegasus. From her blood that dripped as Perseus carried her home, sprang coral as it fell onto the seaweed, venomous snakes when it fell upon the sand, and the monster Amphisbaena when the blood came into contact with the Libyan desert. After Perseus used the head on Polydectes, and on his vengeful grandfather, King Acrisius, he brought the head to Athena's temple in Athens as an offering to the goddess. Medusa's head was then placed in the heavens as a constellation, and its likeness was emblazoned on Athena's shield forevermore.